Hello, my name is Luke Emerson, and I'll be talking about Helping Hands Phoenix, which is abbreviation is HHP. A little about Helping Hands Phoenix. It is a fictitious nonprofit organization, and it's based off of community action agencies here in Arizona. Helping Hands Phoenix, as a community action agency, is appointed by the governor and does not have to seek out. It doesn't have competitive funding for LIHEAP funds. Which comes out to be about $1 to $2 million per agency, depending on the year. We'll get into that as this presentation goes on. Here's our agenda. It'll take us about 10 to 15 minutes to get through this completely. We'll discuss the executive summary, management philosophy, organizational profile, organizational context, vision and strategy, culture, structure, performance management, general strategies, managing change, and conclusion. Executive summary. The purpose of this management plan is to discuss how HHP will achieve its new goals in management strategy. HHP relies on a holistic and intensive case management and internal management style that can help move people through and out of poverty in the most collaborative way possible. HHP would like to increase volunteerism to drive administrative costs down so we can put that into savings into programs. We also would like to reestablish a healthy working culture to make sure our employees and volunteers are happy and stable. Management philosophy. As I said, HHP adopts a holistic and inclusive management style where everyone's rights are respected and everyone participates in decision making to make sure that services are extended to all deserving people in Phoenix. Leadership at this organization is people-oriented, meaning leaders are obligated to show concern for employees and treat them respectfully. There is also a democratic decision-making approach, which gives employees the chance to take part in making decisions about the company as well as themselves. We care about employees' input, but we also allow them the freedom to make decisions when necessary. Through these approaches and values, HHP has enhanced its mission impact, which we will discuss a little later on. The communication style at HHP is lateral. Lateral communication is where information moves from the management to the subordinates and vice versa. This creates a smooth channel for action as information moves without delays. It brings about open-mindedness, sense of family, and respect. Lateral communication has proven effective in many other sectors and industries, and HHP is happy to adopt that type of philosophy. HHP promotes teamwork in every level of management, and our lateral communication style enhances that as we achieve our mission goals, and it's critical for our institution. Organizational profile. HHP is a nonprofit organization that provides general human services to community members for 10 years now. Again, that includes rental assistance, food pantries, SNAP benefits, anything that can help anybody move through and out of poverty. It mainly targets low-income individuals and families, most of who are undergoing economic crisis in Phoenix, Arizona. The organization is well established with just eight employees, 80 partnering agencies, and has an annual budget of about $6 million. HHP does not need to participate in competitive funding because it is designated community action program entitled to LIHEAP funding each and every year. However, that funding doesn't encompass everything that HHP needs, so we need to seek out outside of funding, which we'll discuss in a little bit in a different slide. The external mission statement at HHP is to improve the quality of life for the people in Arizona and give them greater economic independence. The internal mission is serving individuals and families with low financial capabilities to live in better conditions and empower them financially through donations and job opportunities. The leadership team at HHP includes leaders from different departments. The senior management team consists of the chairman and the CEO. There's a chief operating officer, chief financial officer, a director of sales, and a director of marketing, and we'll get into that in more details. Organizational context. HHP is a mature organization that has a stellar reputation among citizens in Phoenix and other community service institutions. HHP has documented organization. HHP has documented organizational policies and procedure processes and has a CEO and a board of directors, much like any other nonprofit or community action agency. Programs are outcome based and are aligned with our strategic plan of continuing to maintain our standards. HHP stakeholders include donors, both current and potential, community members, the government that funds us, all of our employees, and anybody who contacts HHP for any reason. Some of HHP's competitors include the Salvation Army, all community action agencies, and human services departments for other government agencies, but HHP has really worked to bridge those competitors so that we can work more cohesively to serve our community as one. HHP is able to meet its budget through funding from various stakeholders. Again, LIHEAP being a large portion of that, but we also get funding from Community Service Block Grant, which is CSBG, other government grants that are outcome based, private donations. Last year we had 16,000 private donors, and from other corporations, which include APS, SRP, agencies like that specifically help low-income people. HHP has several core competencies, which include focusing on LIHEAP and CSBG fund knowledge. This means our caseworkers are able to leverage more dollars than our competitors. Strategically, we would like to develop more competencies to leverage more dollars in a more effective way. However, what separates us as our differentiators, for example, is that last year we were able to serve 6,200 individuals with just our LIHEAP money alone, which was $2 million. That is 1,200 more people than our next nearest competitor. And what that comes down to is just knowing when and how to leverage dollars for each individual case profile. Vision and strategy. The idea of HHP is becoming a champion in ending poverty by advocating for fair practices, ensuring the right living conditions, and adopting effective community policies through community action initiatives for the people of Arizona. This ties in with our internal vision of beyond easing the effects of poverty, our efforts aim to ignite lasting change to stop poverty before it starts. Our economic logic for HHP includes federal grants such as CSBG Block Grant and LIHEAP funding. We also use funds from organizations such as APS and SRP. Additionally, we are able to take private donations to fill the organization's needs. We do have a yearly fundraiser event, but that event really is focused on increasing volunteerism. The goals and objectives defined in these sections that we've previously discussed all outline the interests of our stakeholders, which are all about serving people in need in Phoenix. They also have our stakeholders also have a position of interest with us in that they get to make some of the decision making too. For example, APS would like for us with our funding to serve at least 500 people per quarter. So, their needs are also considered when we are doing our strategic missions. Culture. The cultural guidelines at HHP is people-oriented. We make fairness, support, and respect for everyone vital in our activities. However, because we are a human services organization, it can be perceived that at times we put the needs of our clients above the needs of employees and volunteers. As much as the people-based culture works for us, we hope to make it better in the future by creating a balance between the employee and client needs. We could do that by getting more input from our employees and from our clients. HHP is about employees and volunteers and offers them autonomy, unlike most at any other work environment. Everyone has a voice and no one person is more influential than the others. Management makes the final decision, yes, but those decisions are made with consideration from our stakeholders, our funders, and our employees and volunteers. Our trait of focusing more on people has its advantages. For instance, we are able to attract competitive volunteers and employees. However, because we are so community focused, sometimes we lose focus of our employees and our volunteers, and we become too people oriented when that comes for people in our community. So that's one thing that we need to focus on. Our inclusiveness helps to keep us ahead of the curve and is designed to our inclusiveness helps us to keep us ahead of the curve, and that design has proved to work for us thus far. Structure. When describing the structure, we look at departmentalization and hierarchy within the organization. HPP has departments that coordinate to achieve goals. All these departments report to 4 managers who combine all of the information from team meetings to make decisions for the organization overall. However, this approach is boundaryless, as you can see from our chart here, in that any employee can approach any manager directly and vice versa without any intermediary transactions, in that everybody can talk to everybody and everybody is equal. Centralization refers to the concentration of management activities to a particular leader or location. At HHP, decisions are not charged with one person, but is a collaboration between the management and the employees. However, the board must approve a resolution for it to be final. The board is at top of the decision-making process. They are not on this structure, as you can see here, because like most nonprofits, the board is its own entity. Policy management. The communication director, the position of communication director, donation relations manager, volunteer recruitment manager, and accountant are all going to be discussed on this slide. The communication director must have an excellent written and oral communication skill for drafting emails and speaking during meetings. To achieve this, he or she must set expectations to create predictability and formulated routine answers that he or she needs for each situation. The donor relation manager needs to be organized by keeping a donor schedule. This is achievable through visual representations showing goals, current positions, and expectations that should show an increase in donations on our KPI quarterly index. The volunteer recruitment manager should be capable of establishing an active team that cuts down on costs with more output on effective volunteerism. He or she can also use visual representations to show this. Our accountant is tasked with making sure that all of our funding is in line with our strategy. General strategies. The action plan will also work to minimize employee misbehavior and maximize the motivation, rewards, and performance appraisals will be applied to encourage employees to perform better. These can be tangible, such as parties, gifts, and certificates, or intangible, such as social reinforcers, such as appraisals or promotions. An employee who qualifies for either of these will be identified on the basis of the basis of whether or not they achieved their targets through daily monitoring programs. In order to control consequences from problematic behavior, the management will encourage employees to work according to the rules and standards of the company. For example, in case an employee is in the habit of submitting incomplete reports or taking longer breaks, a manager will tackle the problem systematically until it is abolished. He or she can complete a report and give it back so that the employee can see what is expected of them. This is the shaping approach that will be used throughout. Managing change. Organizational changes involves the shift from one state of affairs to another. In order to manage proposed changes better, employees must be notified first because the change affects them most. The process should be slow to enable everyone to adapt slowly to avoid negative repercussions like employees leaving the organization. Acquiring more volunteers, increasing donations, establishing new leadership positions, and dealing with employees' behavior are not an easy tasks. There will be risks involved. Financial constraints resulting from getting new volunteers and expanding outreach will be solved by requesting for more donations. This will need diligency and will enforced by the new donor relation manager. The changes needed to be effected systematically in a smooth manner to avoid employees from becoming uncomfortable and leaving the organization. Conclusion. HHP works to give the least advantaged people of Phoenix better lives by extending a helping hand. Although existing strategies have proved fruitful, there is a need to re-strategize and do better. It has been challenging to keep long-term volunteers. It keeps the HHP started off. It seems that HHP started off as a volunteer destination, but with recent turnover, we've seen our numbers drop and employees needing to take additional roles outside of their assigned duties. We need to stabilize volunteerism and realign employees with their assigned tasks. It is also crucial that we increase our donor funding and improve employee behavior to enhance performance. New leadership posts are also necessary to cater for the target expansion. The new management plan designed and represented here in this presentation is the approach that we should be taking. Thank you.